Hello, Galaxy. I'm Chris Perillo, and apparently, we're right in the middle of a hype train. Like, it started before, we really started, which is incredible. It's like outstanding. So I don't know if we're gonna make it. We only have like 35 seconds left to go. I don't know how many candy corns. Oh, I have to catch up on so soon. One, two. I think we got what, 3 subs? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. I have 6 candy corns to eat right now. Ugh. Ugh. Oh, Liz has got 100. I think she also cheered some in the beginning in the pre-show show. So I'm gonna eat 7 candy corns. Thank you for beginning things with a hype train, everybody. Give me a minute. I do mean a minute because it's going to take me a while to recover from this. Now, I have promised that I will try to be bringing guests on and more frequently. So every Friday, I'm aiming to bring a different geek into the program. Someone who does tech stuff, geeks out about one thing or another. Last week we talked to Travis, who does tech videos on YouTube, also local. And so that it's holding true tonight. We've got a lot to cover potentially, even if it doesn't happen in the course of the conversation. I got some stuff to show everybody, some pickups from today. I also just unboxed the Pixel 6 Pro. Not thrilled with it. That's just the long and short of it. The unboxing, of course, is on YouTube. If you go to the TLDR playlist, it may very well be at the top. The candy corn is sticking to my teeth. This is not a good sign. So anyway, we'll be getting into that. The 3D printer is now clog-free, at least for the time being. I am not clog-free because I've got candy corn in my mouth clogging everything. And then the giveaway. We're doing a filament giveaway again tonight. And tomorrow, we're giving away the filament from a printed solid, courtesy of D. Randolph, 1976. Plus, Loyal Moses is going to be here as the guest. So it's going to be a special guest tomorrow as well. He's giving away a Prusa Mini Plus. So giveaways all around. So I'm going to start the giveaway here. As soon as I give an introduction to tonight's guest, and he will be able to better explain everything that he does because he does a lot, seemingly. And now I'm kind of returning the favor because I was a guest on the show that he does on YouTube, not Twitch, live at least. And he's known at least by 2 different handles, Pooch as well as Repcord. So I'm going to introduce Pooch. You're here.
Talk now?
You can talk now.
It was really hard for me to
I know.
Just be quiet.
It's okay.
Quiet,
you
quiet.
did well. You did very well. It could be worse. Maybe at least you didn't get any candy corn.
Oh, man, I'd just rather just eat candle wax.
It's pretty much what it is.
Same thing.
Exactly. So, who are you? What do you do? Where can they find you? You know, obviously you're into 3D printing.
Yeah. So, I have 2 kind of famous hands. First of all, thank you for having me. I'm glad to know this was a quid pro quo deal.
No.
For that, because that's totally what I was going for. No, I'm happy to be here. Super excited. People know me kind of for 2 handles. Like, Repcord is what my handle is on all the socials. That's my company. Some people like to call it R3 Cord because I got clever throwing that backwards 3 in there for 3D. But everybody calls me Pooch. My last name is Puccinelli, and so like you, fellow Italian, you don't get to have a last name like that without getting a nickname.
Yeah.
So that's where Pooch comes from for anybody that hadn't heard that before. I do a lot of 3D printing. That's what I like on a daily basis. You can see I have a lot of printers here. There's a lot of printers over here that you can't see. I love 3D printing. I love making in general. So, this is just kind of one of my tools in the toolbox. I'm in the print room right now, but we also do a ton of laser cutting. Then just some their odds and ends and stuff too.
There's so many things that I would want to laser cut, like Star Wars things, but I couldn't justify. I don't have a business around it yet. I got to figure out how to make a business around it now. Everyone else is doing it.
I mean, I had when I was in college, there was a professor that at the end of every lecture, I had him for like 5 or 6 different classes, but at the end of every class that he had taught, he would do his like how I made my millions speech, which was always interesting because it's like he was there teaching because it was his passion, not because he had to or wanted to be a teacher. But his message was always find something, start a business. He's like, the best way to accrue wealth is to keep as much of it away from the government legally as possible via making a business. So it's like if you like traveling, create an investment, like you go to Hawaii so you can look at some property and you can write off your plane ticket or whatever. If you're into streaming, like create a little business. And now obviously you need to start showing some revenue as a result of it too. You can't just be like writing everything off without bringing money in. But you're obviously doing this on a regular basis. It's just it's not sexy to people. Like actually going through the process of like creating a business, like that almost feels like a drag a lot of the time. But it has a lot of benefits.
How long have you been doing a business? Have had a business? I'm just curious.
Yeah. So Repcord's been in business since April 1st of 2016.
Oh, okay. Wow.
What turned out to be one of the longest running April Fool's jokes on the history of the planet, right? It just happened to be the day I'm not incorporated, I'm an LLC, but that was when we started. So that's like 5, we'll be pushing 6 years now. Just kind of started as a side hustle. I was doing a lot of Amazon stuff. This is really like I call it my startup year because it's like I only just got out of the garage like last year. And it's just like a whole different ball game going from like you and maybe having some contractors that you're farming stuff out to like actually like having to pay the rent, having to pay the electric bill, having to pay employees, having to deal with all that stuff. I mean, it's insane and awesome all at the same time.
That's it's a relatively at 2016. I would say that's relatively new. I mean, my business, I started mine 1996. I've been at it that long. And what I'm doing with you is like the closest thing I've ever had to a business, and I was never able to really scale it up because it's content. Everything I've done primarily with business has been content, but it's compelling to see people latch on to 3D printing and figure out how to design and make and create and sell. I mean, it's interesting to me because I've never been a maker. The closest thing I can do is just fart around and print like Star Wars trinkets. So it's really kind of neat to see that yet another person has figured out how to do a business around their interests.
Yeah, and the real key is not letting it like suck your passion away, right? Because especially in this particular space, the maker community. The thing that makes everybody excited to be a maker is like just the variety a lot of the time, and I always say like there's a huge difference between making one thing and making 1,000 or 10,000 of something, and the things that you need to do to make a profitable, like if you're going to be a product-based business, to get to that level are generally counter to like where the passion lies for a lot of people that are into making, right? And so I'm a huge advocate for maker entrepreneurs, but it's not for everybody, and I certainly wouldn't advocate for it at the sake of like if you feel like it's going to rob your passion. So prior to this is not actually my first business. I was a freelance web developer for almost 20 years prior to this, and so when I say this was my like first year, like I still had some retainers and stuff I was working on up until last year. Like the 2020, talk about good timing, right? Pandemic years and stuff like that was like literally the first year where like I didn't have any of my other stuff, and so it was like, okay, we're operating without a safety net now. Like I have to make this work, and I think that's been a good thing, but it's a terrifying thing at the same time. And it was a huge pay cut, and had to eat into savings for a while, and we were like I was shut down for almost 4 months while we were doing the Operation Shields Up thing, where we were actually cutting face shields and doing all that stuff, which I wouldn't change for the world, but obviously there was a lot that I learned from that, a lot that gave me confidence to kind of take the next step. But yeah, that was an interesting challenge. One of the many like tiger by the tail things I feel like I had, and it took me longer to figure out how to divest from it than to get into it and get going with it.
So you're talking about making stuff.
Yeah.
And I think we can see the stuff, or part of the stuff that you're making behind you. You've also got them sitting on top of those rep boxes.
Yeah, these are a newer kind of rep box that. I like to say like every.
Wait,
yeah.
What is it?
Yeah.
What is it? It's
Yeah.
something you do. What is a rep box? And then why
Totally.
is this new? Yeah.
So a rep box is just a filament management system is what I call it, but basically it's a holder for your filament. The flagship product is like originally was one that you would like mount on a wall up above, and it could hold like originally it was like 5 spools, then it became 6 spools, and then there was different configurations. So if you wanted to put it on a shelf underneath or whatever, and then this is a newer design. Loyal has a bunch of these as well. This works out really well with some larger printers, or if you're trying to do a lot of farming, like these will hold like giant spools and they lay flat. So, you can't hold as many, but when we're printing a lot of the same thing, these turntable designs. So it's like, instead of, traditionally you'll see spool holders that are going through the arbor of a spool. These are like laid flat, like on a Lazy Susan type thing, and then they feed out the back.
Oh, so theoretically, because I've got like on my desk, I don't know if you don't have the stream pulled up right now, likely, but well, actually, I can show you. I can move the. Oh, you do have it. So like, yeah. I've got just the Prusa Mini, the spool holder off to the side, right? Like
right.
I'll show everybody here. Like it's off to the side. So you're saying I would be able to put it underneath the Mini?
Correct. So you put the Mini on top of the box, and you would keep your filament underneath.
Oh.
And it's a much more compact setup.
Yeah.
So I've never been a big fan of like the CR10s and those like little side feeders, the enders. I have a Mini too. I love my Mini. But I feel like desk space and shelf space is at a premium.
Yeah. So like, I'm curious to know how much of a, like, because I know I obviously have a lift, and I think I'd have the space vertically. It's how much space would a rep box take underneath a Mini? Like how much?
Yeah.
Much more of a footprint. And by the way, Buana just rated us. Someone I sucked into the 3D printing community hardcore, because he's got. I only have one printer, one Mini. He's got like he's got a full collection, and now he's got a business selling his prints on Etsy. So Buana, thanks for the raid.
Love it. Thanks, Buana.
Yeah.
Love it.
So okay, so I'm asking because I'm curious, because I thought it was just something you mounted on the wall. I didn't know that I could raise. Oh, yeah. Okay, so tell me more. Tell me more.
Yeah. So this is a newer design. So I always like to say, like, everything that I sell, like, we use on a daily basis here. Like, I really advocate for, like, I don't want to sell something that I haven't spent a ton of time thinking and getting utility out of myself, whether it was the original rep box or this new we call this one the TT, so this is a newer design, the turntable, and you can actually fit smaller. So you can either configure it so there's one big Lazy Susan in it for like the large spools. So these are like 5 kilo spools. Like that would last your Mini for probably a month of straight printing. And then you can put a quad kit in it. So there's like 4 little ones, and that'll hold like either the 1 kilo or the 2 kilo extra tall spools.
I'm not even sure what I have. I mean, honestly, with measurements, I'm not that great.
Usually kilos.
Yeah, 1 kg. Yeah, a kilo. Those are, and so how easy is it to? I mean, it's relatively straightforward to load it with no modifications into the Prusa Mini. So how is it that much more complex, or you just have more slack, or?
No, so we just use so you know how there's just that little Bowden tube that comes out the side of your Mini?
Yep.
And then I don't know if you have the filament sensor too, but there'll be like an extension if you have that.
I don't have a sensor. Yeah.
So we just continue that run of PTFE tube down, and I sell extenders because people use them for all different kinds of printers. And it's really easy. You literally just kind of like press the filament into the tube, and it just runs all the way out, and then you just put it in your printer, and away you go. and it works.
You know, if
works.
it gets this, I mean, I don't mind. I mean, my desk has gotten, it's been taken over this year, like with this live streaming stuff on Twitch. It's like, I've got the camera, the laptop, this camera, that, you know, the lights, the 3D printer, and then with the spool that I have off to the side. I looked at the Prusa. They did a modification kind of kit for the Mini. And I hadn't gone through the rigmarole of printing it out and actually assembling it. I'm like, it just seems like way more work than I can handle. I'm much more interested in just like here, set it on this and you're good to go.
Totally. And that's exactly what I mean, we made it out of necessity for what we had here. We were so tired. Like, we print so much here that swapping out a kilo spool, like, almost became, you know, a daily process between all of the different machines we have running. And so, you know, taking a little bit, you know, of time savings from not having to swap spools as often is a big win for us.
But how do you not have to swap spools? Because don't you inevitably?
Oh, you will eventually. Yeah. It goes longer because we use these 5 kilogram spools that we get from Ziltech.
Got it. Yeah.
I have a contract. Or I have the in with Prusa where he sends me the stuff that they use on their farm, which is the 2 kilogram spools, and I can actually load up to 4 of those in there. So that's even more.
Okay.
So if you did the quad kit, you know, right now we just kind of, it depends. If we have to swap colors and stuff like that, we, you know, don't want to have to move stuff around. So usually we have like a certain bay of machines that are using. Here, I'll pull out so you guys can kind of see the scope of it a little bit better.
And you there, colors. And it looks like one of my prints is done here. You've got, like, I think those are dampeners, if I remember correctly. Look at that. Yeah, we can see everything. It goes on and on and on and on. It's like me. It goes on and on.
Yeah.
Are those dampeners in between the printer?
So those are actually cinder blocks. And the reason we use those are twofold, though technically threefold, but they're literally just those paver stones you can go down to Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever and get them.
I've heard about this.
Right, and so if you put a level, and anybody can do this, and it's a super cheap and easy hack, and you will definitely benefit from it in potentially 2 ways. One, the first and foremost is like the noise saving. So
that's what I heard.
I don't know if you've ever noticed, you hear that vibration of it shaking your desk. Like, even though the thing isn't really like, it kind of amplifies depending on how you have it set up, right?
Yeah.
And so just creating a little, if you take something massive like a paver stone and you put a little thing of foam or get some of that, you know, that polyethylene foam that comes in all the packaging or whatever, and just make some little feet under it. You know, it's called not dampening. Oh my gosh, it's Stefan CNC Kitchen does a big old a bit on the actual physics behind it and stuff like that. But decoupling.
Okay.
And basically the whole idea is like to create kind of a base isolator to prevent kind of noise and vibration to translating from the printer down to whatever you have it on. I guess, so a lot of people.
Yeah, go ahead.
A lot of people do it because like they either sleep in the room right next to, you know, your printer and the vibration will shake the wall and you know, stuff like that. So it helps cut that down.
I sit here I guess I don't have the problem. I don't have the problem either with the noise or the vibration, like, at all.
Yeah. Well, the Prusa Mini and a lot of the Prusas, like, they use those silent steppers and all that stuff. So it depends on the machines you're using and the way they're going, how fast they're printing, all kinds of stuff. Different models a lot of times will create different, like, resonant frequencies that can make it seem worse or better. Mm-hmm. So there's the decoupling aspect, and then there's just, like, these shelves are notorious for being kind of, like, warped and warbly and stuff. So just having, like, a flat surface to, like, put a machine on so that it's not, like, potentially kind of doing that, because, like, you know, the feet aren't always at quite the same level, and you know, the weight of it on the box and stuff over time, so it just kind of creates a little flat surface. And then it's kind of silly, and I wouldn't really advocate for it for fire protection, but it does create, like, a big stone block, so if there was some sort of dreaded meltdown, it's not, like, transmitting hot stuff down to the more flammable things below. But we have fire suppression for all that stuff too. That's not really ideal for that. But,
and by the way, the angle of the camera looks fantastic. I told Pooch earlier, because we were experimenting, and he had a webcam. I don't know what it was, probably your laptop webcam. And I'm like, dude, I think
it was a C920. It was a
oh
Logitech.
My God, it's garbage. And I
It was
said,
a dark room too.
it was bad. The webcams are bad. That's not Pooch's fault. But I said, hey, have you heard of re-incubate camo? No, it was great. Right up your nose. That's exactly the shot I wanted.
That's what you wanted.
Exactly. So I said, have you tried re-incubate camo? And I've been proselytizing, like, in evangelizing this product. And so he tried it, and he's using it. Like, I tell you, like, it's outstanding.
It's so good. It's so good.
It's so good. Windows, Mac, Android, iOS. It's like one of those. You're gonna pay for camera anyway. I'm telling you, re-incubate camo and everything else. Like it's night and day. You look great.
I just got the 13 Pro Max because I've been due for an upgrade for a while now, and the cameras on it are bonkers, and I know you have opinions about all the different cameras.
No, the cameras are great. I'm using one too.
Camera.
Yeah.
It doesn't hold a candle to the Samsung, but I know it's still way better than what I had.
It's night and day. So shifting gears. If you had tips for people who have not yet begun 3D printing or haven't considered it, or maybe have just begun, like some real novice beginner
dipping their toe in.
Yeah, like do you have like suggestions, recommendations, because you have a lot more experience than I do, and I know just by talking about it here on Twitch and showing me doing it, and I don't really know what I'm doing, I know I've influenced people to start doing the same thing, and they've like taken off, like in terms of their passion with 3D printing. Do you have any kind of direction and suggestions for that type of person?
Absolutely. So I would say my two biggest pieces of advice that I generally give when I'm asked about this stuff are, one, set yourself up to succeed as best as you can, and that means a couple different things. The number one question I get from people is like, I want to get into 3D printing. What printer do I get, right? And like any piece of tech or anything out there, the first question is, what is your budget, right? And you can get printers now that are like less than $100. Not necessarily any good, or not, some of them like not bad out of the box, but like anything, your ability to continually succeed, or the crap shit you're taking when you go cheap, that you're not going to get a bad one, or you're going to pay for it somehow, right? And so my recommendation is set aside, like, I think $500 should be a baseline budget, and with that, I think you can get. I think a mini is a fantastic place to start. I would advocate, if you are the kind of person that is into assembling stuff, you will be better served in the long run if you want to stay with 3D printing, possibly getting the kit version, because when you put it together, you will have a much better understanding of how it's functioning, and when it breaks, because it's not an if, it's a when, you will have a much better idea of like what you need to do to address that. And you've been down that road already.
Yeah, and I gotta say, if I didn't have the guidance of the community, at least that I've been connected with, and maybe I started with the right people, in the very beginning. I've known Joel Telling, aka the 3D printing nerd, since before a lot of people knew Joel, I feel. I got in on the ground level, like the basement level with Joel. And, always had that kind of in my back pocket, knowing, well, maybe at some point, if I get interested, at least I know I can trust someone. And I think Joel has engendered such a positive community that, anybody that I feel Joel deals with or elevates or interacts with is also someone that I could trust for positivity or guidance or advice. And generally what you've laid down in terms of suggestions has been mirrored by a great many people who also have an amazing, a wealth of experience, an amazing amount of experience with 3D printing beyond just being a hobbyist of sorts.
Right. So the other big thing along those lines is, like, you need to set your expectations properly for what it is, okay? This is not a plug and play. This is not your your laser printer, your inkjet printer where you feel like you can just plug it in. And I mean, it's getting better in that regard, right? Like I think Prusa does a pretty good job of it. There's other printers out there that do. Like I'm a Prusa fanboy, but I have plenty of other printers out there. But temper your expectations a little bit that this is still very much in its infancy, and that it is a tool, and there is going to be some tinkering that you might need to do. So when I talk about that $500 entry budget too, that's probably like get in with your printer and have some money to spend on some filament and just some time. And if you're the kind of person that wants to learn more about how the machine works and maybe do some upgrades or something like that, I think that that's a reasonable, healthy budget. What you don't want to do is, like I've only got $100 to spend, and then buy the cheapest thing that you could, like a used printer that you like. You're going to drive yourself crazy, and it's going to end up in your garage, and you're going to throw your hands up and say, "This is ridiculous. I don't want anything to do with it." Right? So you really need to set yourself up to succeed, and I think that that's a reasonable entry budget. And there's going to be people that disagree with me out there. You can get an Ender. You can get the Elegoo Neptune is really popular right now. I think that's like a $300 price point. And there's like a race to the bottom going with like a lot of these printers. The reason that I don't generally advocate for the cheaper Chinese stuff, at least not right out of the gate, is because, again, setting expectations, the level of support that you will get is nothing from them. You need to like understand that it really is nothing. Save for, if something was missing out of the box, like they can send parts sometimes and all that stuff, but it's going to be on you to fix it. So you're paying for it in the sense that if it arrives broken, it's going to be on you. And don't expect, there's great community help out there, but you need to be willing to put in the work.
So, I got another question.
Go for it.
And feel free if you want to like show the whole array behind you. The wide angle looked fantastic, by the way.
Oh, me.
Okay, you want your face? It's fine. It's up to you. I'm just saying.
Vanity, baby.
Nah.
Yeah, no, I'll pull back.
No, it was really impressive. Like I was like, wow. I'm like, it really showcased. Like here I am. Like I said, I'm just farting around with one here. Oh my God, there's even more.
Oh, you want to see something else that'll blow your mind? Here, well, I don't know if it'll blow your mind, but here, this is what I see. And unfortunately, I don't have zoom control over that. It's the other side of the camera. But this is my belt farm. So there's 10 of these belt printers along this wall that I'm facing right now that are just pooping out parts endlessly.
That's incredible.
So that's another thing. But here, let's go back to the
that's incredible.
money shot here.
Okay, so I've made so many mistakes with 3D printing, and I feel most of them have been pebcac, either because I sliced incorrectly or the file itself just wasn't optimized for the type of printer that I have, learning where to put supports. But what are some of the more common mistakes that people make with 3D printing, especially when they're just starting out? Things that could be avoided, your recommendations for avoiding mistakes, really.
Yeah. So it's funny because this is like what my business is based off of, but the first rule that I'm gonna clear everybody on is that when your print fails, it's not the filament. Like, the filament is the first thing that everybody wants to play, because I think everybody thinks like the minute I open my bag of filament, like I'm on the clock. Like this stuff is just decomposing in front of me, and they're worried that it's absorbing water. And that is true. This is a hygroscopic material, and different filaments will absorb moisture, and that will degrade the quality of your print. But there are literally like 1,000 different variables that go into getting a successful 3D print out there. And so your ability to think methodically and work through the problem in terms of like, well, okay, what is the output that I'm getting, and what are the variables that contributed to that? What are the heat? What's the heat? Not just the settings of the printer, but like what's the environment that I'm in? Like, is my 3D printer like sitting by an open window with like a breeze blowing on it? Like, there's a lot of little things that when you're first getting into it, you just don't even occur to you that will potentially not set you up for success, right? So first step is spend a little time doing a little research. Like, this is a tool. I know everybody wants to get excited and get printing and all that stuff, and that's great. You can certainly go to Thingiverse or Prusaprinters.org or Colts 3D and download some models and print some stuff. And in fact, that's a great way to get started. Find a model you like, print it out, see how it did. Maybe you're lucky and you got a great result off the bat. Typically, you're going to get something that's okay, and you don't even know that it's like, it might look good to you as your first time going in, but you have no idea really what to compare it to. Like, maybe the layer lines are like completely jagged and stuff like that, but as a noob, you have no concept. So you're probably going to want to spend some time in some forums or having some, hone your craft just like anything else. Keep in mind, it is a tool. It's not the Star Trek replicator that everybody keeps expecting it to be, right? I don't know that we're ever truly going to get there. I mean, probably, but I don't know. What do you think?
I think maybe, but not within our lifetimes. That said, it's been pretty amazing just to, have the technology that we have now to do what we do. It is pretty astounding. I've certainly made mistakes and tried to learn from them. How would you recommend people go about learning from their mistakes without getting to the point where they're just like done with it? Whether they got the quote unquote right printer or the quote unquote right filament, how would they move past those mistakes?
Right. So the first thing is you have to ignore all that noise, because when you go onto the internet, this as well as anybody else, there is always going to be the crowd that's out there that's going to be like, you're an idiot because you got X printer or you got X filament or whatever. Like, you need to just get some print hours under your belt. You go and I happen to be the kind of person that enjoys watching YouTube videos or reading through forums or whatever. I need to learn by doing. Like, I'm a hands-on person, right? But I'm also a learn by failing person. And so my level of tolerance for the print failed, I got my spaghetti mess, whatever. Okay, start over, start fresh. Like, patience. You need to be patient, and you need to accept the fact that you will fail. And that's fine, and that is part of the process. And until you put in the hours, what is that, the Malcolm Gladwell thing? Like, I don't think you need 10,000 hours to be a pro necessarily. Like, I would never call myself a pro. I've got tons and tons of hours in, but I'm learning something new every day. I come across new failure modes every day. I've never seen a print fail like that before, and why? And then I go through the decompression of the why, but I like that process. So that's what I'm saying. I think that anybody starting now is in a really good, this is a really good time to be getting in, because you picked a really great time to get in, right? Because you benefit from all of the learnings and the teachings and the development that brought us to, say, the Prusa Mini, that gives you really good odds of success right out of the gate. That's not to say that even the Prusas and stuff aren't without their share of flaws. But the reason I advocate for Prusa is because they control the ecosystem in a really, really good way. Like, Joe and his team know that the more variables that I can control going into the process, the better off the odds are for success. And that includes the filament, the slicing, the printer itself, the support that you get. Like, and you will get support. You contact Prusa support, you will talk to a person, they will help you through your problem, and they will send you stuff if you need it, and they will help you install it if you need to, or they will help you send it back, which is crazy when you think about it. It's got to go all the way back to the Czech Republic. They stand by their stuff. And so you get what you pay for. And when you factor all of those things into account, there's no other company out there at this kind of price point that can even touch it. So that's why I really like, it's the machine. When you look at the machine, people are like, oh, I could build that for way cheaper. And that's true, but what you can't do is expect that degree of ecosystem completeness. Right?
That was one of the things that shocked me the most when I had the opportunity to basically test this. This is a review unit. I leapt at the opportunity. I didn't realize, I knew there were a lot of 3D printers out there, but just how far ahead of the game the Prusa Mini would put me because of auto bed leveling, right? These are small features that, it's a spec, right? It's a checkbox. And, not knowing anything about it, I'm like, oh, I don't know what that means. But over the course of the past, 6 or so months that I've had this since February, so it's maybe a little over 6, I heard from plenty of people who jump into the live stream on Twitch because they see I'm 3D printing or we're talking about 3D printing, and they've got random 3D printer X, no, I'm not going to mention any names, but it's been nothing but problems, problem, and I keep hearing the same problems or similar problems from certain brands. I'm like, I've never had to deal with that, and so not having to have those problems, I'm not gonna say I got spoiled with Prusa, but it feels like Prusa has definitely spoiled me to the point where if I got a second one, because I'm fine with one, I don't have an addiction like you, I don't need to be surrounded by them, but I don't have a business like you either. It would probably be like a Mark, whatever maybe the next Mark would happen to be, or maybe when the next Mini Plus is, sorry, the next Prusa Mini that's released, I'm going to pass this one along to my brother, who I'd like to see 3D printing because he's done CAD work in the past. So it's I didn't realize that Prusa was as reputable as it is. I didn't expect it, and I've seen that mirrored in the people who enjoy it just as much as you do.
Yeah, and again, my intent here isn't necessarily. I advocate for them because it's like I've used Bruce's for so long, and I understand. But you're right. You're lucky you didn't have to pay some of the dues, and but we're all to the extent we're built on the shoulder of giants, right? To some extent, right? Like we wouldn't be where we were because the board technology that goes into these has had 20 years of development prior, and gotten us to this point where it's become cheap enough and affordable enough for us. And I love just every day talking to people that are just new and excited and get bit by the 3D printing bug. And I'm really happy to see somebody like you that I think you timed it right. You got the right machine to start. You see the potential and the excitement, and it's fine. You can just have one. Like if you just want to have one to print, get enjoyment out of it as a hobby, fantastic. You should. But what inevitably most people that people in the chat will tell you, it becomes an addiction to some extent, right? Where it's like, ooh, and then I get my next one. And, but you're not that way.
Yeah, I don't, and it's possible that I would get another, but I'm fairly confident because I'm watching at a distance, like, oh, that looks kind of interesting. I see Loyal Moses playing with his stuff, and Joel's always showcasing something new. But I'm kind of happy with what I got, and I'm not trying to push the envelope apart from maybe going down the path of resin. But even then, I'd probably want to stick with Prusa based upon the experience that I've had, and just knowing that that there's a great community behind it, a very supportive community, and I've had as far as I'm concerned, a fantastic experience with my Prusa Mini, which is why I'm thrilled that Loyal is giving away, not mine, not one of his, but he's giving away a Prusa Mini Plus in the stream on Twitch tomorrow night.
I'm going to be there. I'm going to win it.
You could. I don't know. Do you have room?
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do it. Yeah. No, I don't. That's the other thing. And it's like, well, and look, I for a long time I was like you. It's just like it started as a hobby, and I'm totally happy with one. And then I started tinkering with it, and then I realized when I broke the one that I was working on, I had no other printer to print the parts to fix the one that I needed, and so I'm like, well, I need to get a second one so I can print parts. And that's how it all kind of. And then I only got into resin this year, and I'm not nearly as into resin as a lot of other people.
Right.
And that's only two different. There are so many different ways to actually 3D print, different technologies and different form factors and stuff like that, and it's all really cool and fascinating. But as somebody, I think a lot of people probably ask you all the time because you're into the miniatures and all that stuff. They're like, oh my god, you got to get into resin.
I know.
But it's a process, man, and it is not nearly as clean as just plucking that thing off the bed when it's over.
I'm fine right now. Maybe at some point resin will be more my cup of tea, so to speak. I don't know, or maybe something better will come along. I don't know. I don't know how that would come along necessarily, but it's just a little messy for me. Chemically,
Toxic.
yeah, it's not. I don't know. I just assume my ideal is knowing someone who had one. I'm like, here, I'll buy the files. Could you print these? Because it's like, or using an online service, because there are people who do like these models of like Star Wars, vintage Star Wars style figures. I'm like, that'd be really cool. But I'm like, I don't know if it's worth the actual process of going through it or paying to get it done.
It's like boat ownership. It's
right.
cheaper to have friends that own the boat, and then you
right.
go and ride on the boat, and then let them deal with it. Yeah, right. Hey, but Barnacle just rated you, man. That's huge.
Did he?
Look at that.
Barnacle.
Yeah, Jerry.
Wow, I missed the raid. I saw Joe Tashi cheered
coming.
100. I totally missed the Barnacles raid. Thank you, Barnacles. We got to get
people some love.
Barnacles, if he's still here, don't know if I just missed it. It was 3 minutes ago. Jerry, if you're still here, I got to get you on as a guest again soon because I'm trying to do this every single week. Oh, it's Barnacles' birthday tomorrow. Very nice.
Happy birthday, Jerry.
Happy early birthday. The guy,
happy birthday.
He jokes. He's like, I tried to get him into 3D printing for years. I'm like, it's I'll be honest. Like, 3D printing had been a pretty big turnoff for me because it's too nerdy. It's too geeky. It's too. I mean, I'm serious.
And yet here you are.
Well, but the thing is it's like, I'm not interested in. I mean, yeah, like tinkering, sure, but I'm not a hardware guy, and so everything I saw at a distance just looks like, oh my god, that looks like, why would I want that? It doesn't look anywhere near finished. It doesn't look anywhere near like a product that I might use. Like, it just looks like so complex at a distance.
It's like something, like imagine had you gotten in, and you were totally right. Like, had you gotten in, like, I'd say probably about like a little longer than 5 years ago now, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, like some of the precursors to these guys, like with the Mendel, like, tell me in the chat if you know what the Mendel looks like. That's exactly what we're talking about, where it's a bunch of threaded rods, and it was like the nozzle, like the E3D nozzle that's on the Mini and these guys, like, originated from like a brass bolt. Like, the reason it's got the hex on it was because it was a bolt that they like just drilled out.
Funny.
Like, it was just janky. Right,
Wow.
and so it's geeky because you had to be into robotics, right? Like it was truly, and it still is, but it's like, you don't have to be as into the robotics piece to do it, right?
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. It's like I mean, robotics are kind of nice at a distance, but I'm just not. It's not my cup of tea. I'm a software guy more than
nerd.
Than hardware, which makes me an anomaly because a lot of people that are into tech, they're all like. Like with the Pixel, right? Like the 6 Pro that I got, they're all like, ooh, check out the back and it shines and here's what the cameras look like. And I'm like, who cares? Like, how does it run? What is the software experience like? I mean, what is that, And I focus more on that, and everybody else is on something else. So for me, I'm just as, this one, hang on. This print is not going well.
That happens.
Yeah, it does, and I'm glad I have the foresight to be able to notice, like, right away. Like, it just didn't. It kind of glumped up. This is the Brad's orange glitter, so sometimes glitter can get a little wonky. I'm almost at the end of this spool, so I'm just printing like small things.
So that's another variable that, I was talking about how many variables go into it.
Yeah,
like, I've just heard of people, like, when you get to the end of the spool, the wind on the spool is that much tighter, right? And a lot of times that's where your filament, if it's less, that when people talk about blaming filament, this is where you start to see failures from. If it's brittle, it'll start to crack here, or just the nature of the way that the filament is tempered when it's spooled up, like, can kind of change its properties sometimes. And so you'd be like, why did the result come out differently? Like, that's still kind of the stuff that we deal with, and it doesn't occur to people that anything has changed when it has indeed changed.
Yeah, and that's it's something where I'm being more mindful of. I haven't, for as much filament as I got, I'm blessed because, I got a gift from printedsolid.com, the ones who were giving away the filament tonight.
Dave, good dude, yeah.
Yeah, an amazing supporter. He sent me pretty much all the filament that he had at the time, and I'm like swimming in it. So I've run through maybe a couple of full spools of filament, like depending on how I've used it. This is like maybe the second or third spool that I've run all the way through, and I've been printing something every day, but I've used a variety of colors and run across. It's really one of those things that I'm still learning. I have to remember this or I have to remember that, and then when I run across it again, it's easier to accommodate. Not avoiding mistakes, but like, oh, you mentioned like it's at the end of the spool. I'm like, oh, that would make sense. Why, maybe I'm having some issues here at the end of the spool run. Although I've had hiccups with this particular filament, I believe because it's needed a higher temperature. Krusty helped me figure out that it needed a higher temperature for it to work well. But then last night the nozzle clogged because I'm guessing it was because of the glitter. But it's cool. I mean, I love the color. I love how it turns out. I love the glitter portion of it as well.
And no two models will print the same. I mean, the number of variables are literally endless. And just because it's the same brand, like sometimes like color to color, because the dyes that they use like can affect. So I don't know if Krusty has ever walked you through, temperature towers and stuff like.
Yeah.
Like, you're technically. Thankfully, we've gotten to the point where we can kind of swap more interchangeable. And if you're willing to deal with the fact that I put it in and oh, you know what, it's not printing as well, I'm going to play with it. But like historically, there's always been a calibration process. Sometimes you want to, calibrate your extruder to each filament because sometimes there's just a little bit of difference in the diameter. Most people don't care. If you don't care about the surface finish and you're not going for dimensional accuracy and stuff, then that's fine.
I've run into certain issues with the printed solid. I mean, I don't mean issues. Like I've had with printed solid, some of the filaments, I think I have to adjust differently where I'll get layer lines on a model. And I was doing this the other day with the yellow, I think, which turned out really well. I mean, at the end of the day, and I had to, I ultimately found I adjusted the temperature somewhat, and that helped. And I went with a different, instead of 0.2 mm, 0.15. But otherwise, I would get it's just weird. I don't know how else to explain it. But yeah, learning that each filament has a different potential adjustment when printing. That's right. That's something.
That's thermoplastics for you.
Yeah.
And then there's different different material types. There's different colors. There's a lot of times we put these additives in. People will ask why does gray always seem to come out looking so good? And what's interesting too is it's just a lot of times it's not necessarily that the print is any better or worse, but the way that light hits. So for example, we do a lot of printing in black polyethylene, the stuff that water bottles is made out of, PETG. And black polyethylene is notorious for showing layer imperfections because of the way that the light hits and bounces off of it. There's something about gray filament that is more muted and kind of creates more of a smoothness to it. And you're absolutely right that hitting it with different temperatures can change the sheen. It can also change the part integrity. So if you're trying to deal with strength and the layer adhesion, and there's all kind. I mean, I could geek out on this forever. There's all kinds of things that you can play with. But for those just getting started, to go back to it, it's you need to get yourself set up with the best chance of success so you don't get frustrated, right? And then you can learn those things as you go.
That's I haven't reached the point yet with any kind of frustration, or kind of okay, I can't do this again. I can't do this anymore. I've run into maybe a handful of snags, and I'm still learning how to stay ahead of problems. I
saw that stream where Krusty was on with you and he was walking through maintenance, and I saw some moments where you were ready to just kind of, because I don't have the tools for this, or I don't, that you don't think about those things.
No,
right?
Until it becomes a problem, and that's when it becomes a problem.
Right.
And I try to avoid those. For the most part. That's exactly what I'm saying. So I think. Do we want to try to give away? We're an hour in.
Do a giveaway.
Do a giveaway. All right, everybody, bang ticket to enter. Just exclamation mark ticket if you have not already entered the printed solid giveaway. We're giving away. Out of this one because I got plenty. Yeah, I got a lot of filament. I'm definitely not entering. And then tomorrow, once again, we are giving away a Prusa Mini Plus here in the in the channel. So 6 p.m. tomorrow night.
Loyal. That's awesome.
Loyal will be the guest. He'll be in the same square that Pooch is in tonight, and we'll be
hot square
talking about a few different things. It'll hopefully work a little better. The last time we had like an audio disconnect issue, but I think we will have worked through that particular snag. When you want to no, that's the square you get, Loyal. You get that square, and you're gonna be happy with it. Although I gotta
keep it nice and warm for you, Loyal. It's nice and warm.
I gotta tell you, like that backdrop you got, Pooch. That's just like you look pro. You look way pro.
Loyal's got a good setup too, man. You've seen you'll see some more of those probably tomorrow if he's in that room.
In that room from that angle.
Hey, Loyal, how many minis have you given away at this point, Loyal?
Dude,
because it's a lot.
Every time I turn around, like he's like, I'm giving away the farm. Like, really? God bless America.
He's like the Oprah of 3D printing.
Kind
Look
of.
under your chair. You get a 3D printer. You get a 3D printer.
Pretty much. More than 30 minis? Shut up.
Yeah, no, that's actually that's lower than I would have thought.
Wow.
He's just constantly like, let's get you a mini. Let's get.
Wow.
And I think that's a really great service they said, because I think that like it's such a good machine to just get people into the thing.
Yeah.
No, I'm not trying to fanboy. I'm just saying, like,
no, but
I
it's
can't
true.
think of a better machine right now. That can get people into it.
I totally agree. And that's I mean, I asked Loyal, I'm like, hey, this is great, and if it goes well, maybe there will be more to come. No promises. So I'm really hoping that a lot of people tune in tomorrow night for that giveaway and that conversation. I'm glad a lot of people have tuned in tonight for this conversation. When I first started streaming with this stuff, I kind of feel, I mean, I'm not going to say imposter syndrome, because I already know I'm a dumbass. Like, I already know I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And I mentioned that, I feel kind of weird because, there are amazing people like, who are all the people I now follow that are just doing this amazing content with 3D printers, like Uncle Jesse.
Oh. Uncle Jesse, the resin king
Joel,
of the East.
And like, yeah, like all these people, like, and I'm just like, my God, I'm like, I can't even begin.
You follow,
right.
You follow on like Maker's Muse,
yeah.
Tom Sandlander does.
Yep.
He does a lot of good tech stuff too. He's like, I just love the German mind for all that stuff.
It's crazy.
What else is good? Oh, Teaching Tech down in Australia, if you're like more on the geeky side.
Yeah.
Like, he has a really good way of just explaining process and going through interesting stuff. Really great videos. I highly recommend Michael check out Teaching Tech.
Okay.
I mean, you could go on forever. There's a lot of people that do really great content around 3D printing.
Yeah, and it's something where I felt, I mean, I could never approach, I don't think I could approach that, nor would I want to. Like, it's not really, 3D printing is not my brand, so to speak. Like, I've always been someone who, I might tinker or dabble. Like, I'll do a little bit of this, I'll do a little bit of that, which is really challenging because, I don't, it's difficult for people to nail me down. Like, well, what do you, like, I'm like, well, I don't know, I'm 3D printing. I don't know, I'm talking about a smartphone. I don't know, I'm talking about a Star Wars figure. I don't know, I'm talking about, candy corn or whatever the hell. But I messaged, it was David Randolph, and I said, where do I belong and all that? I kind of feel weird. And he says, no. He said, there's a place for, and he didn't mean, I'm paraphrasing, but like for those like you, people like you, and what you're doing is great because
you're kind.
You're kind. How dare you? It was not condescending at all, but he was basically saying, no, there's a place for that, for being, approachable and excited and enthusiastic and just saying, hey, here's what I'm doing, without being overboard, like, specs and like, settings and amazing output. Like, there are people who do that. So there's a place for both of those types of people to exist, at least with people who are putting it out there, they're creating content around, or they've got 3D printing somehow involved with whatever it is they're kind of putting out there. So I still feel,
100%.
I feel like, I'm like, dude, every time I'm like, I look at like hot makes and I'm just like, dude, I can't, I could never come close. Like, I don't see myself getting to that point.
God. I miss it so much, man. Hot makes is like the best thing. And I'm glad that Jim is still carrying the torch on, because if you guys haven't checked it out, it's over on the YouTubes, which I know is a little bit dirty to talk about on Twitch, but
you can do it.
It is a really great it's a really great way to just like get like a rundown of just like all the awesome projects that people have been doing with not just 3D printing, but like CNC and making and, you know, all that stuff. And, you know, saves you a lot of scrolling through your Insta and your Twitter and all that stuff because people just tag just the best of the stuff that's been, made this week.
In my mentions, like ever since like 3D printing, my mentions are dead. Like, I mean, I don't have notifications turned on anyway for that kind of stuff. But like every time I log in the morning, like 20 plus, I'm like, okay, so someone tagged me on a 3D printing something. I'm like, what was it? Oh, I see. Cool. It's a Star Wars thing. Awesome. Like then I get tagged in the conversations. Yeah, nothing has come close to exploding my mentions like 3D printing.
Right. Well, because they're excited to have, and you talk about your kind, and that's not meant to be condescending. But
no.
Can I just say that I have one of the reasons that I've like really gravitated toward your content is your approach toward technology in general is just really refreshing to see that you're much more of a pragmatist.
Yeah.
That you don't necessarily. It's not about spec. It's about experience. It's about like what works for you, and like you just like, and it's okay if that's not what works for you. Great, you know, like, and there really needs to be more of it. Like that's the reason I love Joel's content so much too. Like he gets shade all the time from people who are like, you don't go deep enough. You don't like talk about like the why it works, and it's like, yeah, because that's not his thing. Like he knows that there are plenty of other people, creators out there that will do the deep dive. But like he does a really good job of like advocating and bringing new people into the space and bringing energy the same way you do, positivity and excitement and all the things that like kind of the intersection of entertainment and information that just appeals to the masses in a different way. And you do a great job too. It's like, hey, if you want to go deeper, here's some people that you might want to look into or whatever, and that's fine, right? You don't have to be everything to everyone.
I can say I am definitely not, nor do I strive to be. That's why I like having conversations with people who have a background or an interest that may intersect with mine partially, but not totally.
Right.
Like I'm a big believer, and I don't know if this is more like the Medici way of thinking, like, you know, talking to people with different disciplines or different backgrounds, just so I might be able to learn more and better understand something, even if I have like I don't do it at all. Like, I mean, that was my initial conversation with Joel. How I got really kind of connected to all this stuff is when I interviewed Joel back at the beginning of the year when I made the New Year's resolution to stream every day, at least this year, and I'll probably continue. But like, Joel was on, we were going back and forth, and then I was like, oh wow, and that's kind of how it took off, because I was like, why? I'm like, I guess it's kind of cool, but man, it just seems so geeky. And I know for someone like me to say it seems so geeky, it's just, I'm not using that as a pejorative, but it's just like, it's just unobtainium, right? Like, it's just, it wasn't as accessible, but I learned that if I can do it, I feel if I can do it, a good amount of people can. I don't feel uncomfortable in suggesting that if you have an inclination, where there's a will, there's a way. The hurdle and the barriers are very, very, very low, or have been to me.
Yeah, and they continue to get better, and you know, the things that we're going to see in the future will only make it more accessible and more exciting for new people to get in, and I think that's great. I think that I am more than willing to pay the price right now to help the development along, to get more people in, into the space.
Well, all I can do is just elevate and talk, but I can't. I don't, extrusion, Bowden tube, PTFE.
You're a natural, man. You got all the lingo.
There we go. Yeah.
Listen, give away some filament.
All right, here we go.
If I can take like a couple of minutes after, because I wanted to talk to you about some streaming stuff.
Okay, yeah, we can. Everyone, if you haven't entered the giveaway, bang ticket to enter. Gonna give you a few more seconds to do that. You got to live in the USA or Canada for tonight's filament subscription box giveaway. There are 2 spools of filament. You contact D Randolph 1976, and then tomorrow we're going to do the giveaway of that and a Prusa Mini Plus here, same channel. Loyal Moses is going to be the guest. He's the one who's basically going to be doing that and giving that as a gift to anybody in the world. So tomorrow, Prusa Mini Plus for anybody in the galaxy, the known universe. Today, USA or Canada only for a subscription box from Printed Solid. FYI. Oh, and
all the giveaways.
Liz is also yeah, it's all the giveaways. Liz is also giving away a Canadian candy bundle. So it's going to be you get tomorrow. One person has the chance to get Canadian candy, a subscription box from Printed Solid, and a Prusa Mini Plus. Like 3 things.
Liz, you're gonna have to tell me because I know the Canadians have totally different names for different. Like Jimmy's means something different there, and you guys call. I don't know. There was a whole discussion about this. So I want to know what the Canadian candies.
Oh, dude,
there needs to be a translation.
Coffee.
We call Whoppers one thing. And
no. Coffee Crunch is like it used to be my ultimate candy. Like it's the best, the best candy. If I loved coffee, I miss it so much, so much. The best candy bar ever. It's like a wafer coffee chocolate. It's milk chocolate. They've got
lovely.
Oh no, dude, they've got some amazing candies up north. Okay, gonna close.
Rockets and Smarties, that's the one.
Sorry, Coffee Crisp, not Coffee Crunch. I'm sorry. It's been so long. I've completely.
She's yelling at you.
I know. That's Liz's. That's what she does. Okay, closing the giveaway in 3, 2, 1, and it's closed. Gonna draw a recipient. Good luck, everyone. USA or Canada only. Must be present. Here we go. Drawing the recipient. JIS Boss 32. JIS Boss 32.
Boss. Good handle. Solid handle.
JI.
Congrats.
Going once. Going
mess
twice.
You're gonna get a lot of time.
Well, we got a lot of stuff going on. We got some people that are itching for filament.
People
waiting
for filament.
Allergic reaction, just
gotta get that filament, man. I gotta get that.
I need it, man. I need to print. I'm extruding.
You got that printed solid, man. I need it.
It's solid. I don't see GIS.
Oh, you hate to see it. Tough. That's a shame.
Okay, going once.
I'm over it. They're dead to me.
Going twice. No. All right, sorry.
Sure you did.
Gonna move on. Gonna draw the. Sorry, JS, your time has passed. Unfortunately, drawing the recipient, Canada or US, and that would be Lego 99S. Lego 99S. Lego 99S. Gonna give you about a minute or so to respond. Lego. Love that handle. I love Lego. Love Lego.
I was raised on Lego, dude.
So was I.
So much so, my mom, to this day, this was messed up. I mean, I had so many Legos, and my mom hated it.
Really?
She would vacuum them. Well, no, because of course, inevitably she would step on them,
right.
And we had that thick pile carpet where they'd get hidden. And so when she would vacuum, man, and she'd suck up his Legos, she would literally cheer. And I'd be like,
oh my God, that's
I'm
horrible.
sure I lost a piece. I know, right? I'm like, how messed up is that, Mom?
So, we keep... I have my first Lego not unboxing, but the first time I ever saw Lego bricks, it was on a Christmas morning. I have that video on YouTube, as a kid, in the 80s. I still have that video. First time I ever saw Lego bricks. All right, so apparently they're not in chat. Gonna draw the sorry, time has sailed. Drawing...
It's breaking out.
Here we go. The recipient... for tonight is Zen Umpton.
Ben, make yourself known, buddy.
Please do. Zen Umpton. Oh, that's my name. Zen Umpton is here. So are you in the USA or Canada? Because that's the next thing.
Uh-oh.
Zen Umpton is here. So USA. Congratulations, Zen Umpton. D. Randolph, you want to be able to whisper D. Randolph 1976. And I don't know if David is still here. 1976. D. Randolph is the person you want to whisper to get it all facilitated. When you get your subscription box, if you're on Twitter, tweet, tag, because then I can accelerate it. Printed Solid can accelerate it. It'd be a great way of doing it. Earlier, Dark Toylord did it. When he tweeted earlier this week, I accelerated. Printed Solid accelerated. He got a ton of favorites and retweets.
That's a lot of acceleration.
It was I'm all about acceleration.
What is that? I'm total noob. See, this is why I need to talk to you about stream. What is acceleration a thing? Is that?
Oh, as in he tweeted it. I accelerated the tweet.
You just
retweet.
The,
attention.
The message out.
Yeah. That's all that is. It's nothing fancy. And then Printed Solid accelerated it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mark the giveaway as complete for tonight. Tomorrow, once again, before y'all disappear, the giveaway's done. We are live every night at 6 p.m. Not doing a giveaway every night. My name's not Loyal Moses. But I am live every night at 6 p.m. geeking out about one thing or another, potentially printing, usually printing one thing. I'll be on to a different film and potentially model tomorrow. And then we're giving away a Prusa Mini Plus to anybody in the world tomorrow as a gift. That's courtesy of Loyal Moses, plus another subscription box. Plus,
no, he's serious when he gives away a horse. I want one of his horses.
Really? Where am I gonna put it?
In the backyard.
No, what? No, our backyard's not that big.
Horses love backyards, man. I'm sure it's fine. It's like get a hitching post and just leave it out front, and people will be like, "Oh, that dude rides a horse." I
don't know if the HOA would approve that.
You're gonna have to go through the bylaws. We had a binder like this thick, and I hate the HOA. I used to say I'm never living anywhere with an HOA again, and boy, was I wrong.
Yeah, no, I
hate it.
I don't mind when it works, but it just right now we're like in between. I don't want to get into it, otherwise it'll be okay. So you had questions. I think you said, hang on. You had some questions about streaming, and I might be able to answer.
I do, because you've done this every day now for a year. Plus, you've streamed plenty before this year, obviously.
Yeah.
So if there is one thing that Chris Pirillo knows, I mean, come on. I don't know. I mean, you probably have a different answer for that, but man, streaming, and you've always been a huge advocate for Twitch, right? And I have nothing. I have nothing wrong with that. I just I started in the YouTube space, but I can see very clearly that the community experience and the experience for streaming is just so much more robust here. But it's a completely different community to some extent too, right? It's like, your YouTube subscriber bucks and stuff like that don't translate to bits and whatever. So you gotta get in a whole nother ecosystem. The reason I ask is because, like you, I've identified that it's just I do not have the time. Like, I have a business, and I very much am aware of the fact that in this day and age, if you are not doing something to share your brand and your experience and stuff like that is how especially in this makerspace, this is how advertising happens. People don't look at banner ads anymore. They don't look at, you're not going to be like in the back of Popular Mechanics and getting people in the same way that you used to, right?
Yeah.
You remember those?
I remember seeing them. Yes.
Yes, you do, because you're old like me. Not as old, but yeah. Anyway, but I realize I have to do that, and I just don't have time for long form editing of videos. Like, editing videos just takes so much time. Even when I'm just doing basic like I did a thing on the Palette 3 the other day, and I'm like, one take, cut it together, but I did have to do a couple cuts and stuff like that, and even that takes an hour or two that I don't necessarily have. So I've always gravitated towards streaming like yourself, because I'm more of a shoot from the hip guy, and I like the organic experience. It feels more genuine. I like the interaction, and I like conversation. I'm not as good at probably talking to the camera as you are, or doing that, but I know that kind of stuff comes with practice. My questions for you is that, knowing that streaming and doing there is no shortage of just cool stuff that we're doing around here that I would love to share more of. And I've had a lot of people when are you gonna do a thing on your laser cutting, and show us what that looks like, and what have you learned there? And it what's so hard for me are it's two things. One, by the time that I feel like I have time available to dedicate to it, it's the end of the day, and I am I just don't have anything left, right? It's just like, this is a lot of energy for me at this time of day, a lot of the time. But what's weird is like once I get into it, I can feel the energy and I get really excited. And so it's like, there's a real positive thing for me, just kind of keeping some degree of engagement too. And that's why I did hot mix for a long time. Unfortunately, like the timing for that, because like my co-host was on the East Coast, like he needed to do it, and it was like in the middle of the workday, and it just never worked out. So, what is like the I don't want to say the minimal viable product, but it's like if I want to get into Twitch and get going and stuff, like what is your advice to people, like, and does it translate? Like if I'm not necessarily trying to just like I don't want to make it a big sales thing. Like I really genuinely want to like talk about like this is the cool stuff we do. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Like if you're into it, hey, that's great. But I like the interaction because I want feedback and I want people saying like, have you thought of that and all that? Like, is that right for business? And like, what do I need to do to get started? Just
I would say it's more right for business than it's wrong for business. Ultimately, and you've already identified that YouTube has got a different type of approach to live video. They're constantly adjusting, but I'll come back to saying this again and again and again. On YouTube, live is just a feature, whereas on Twitch, it is the feature. And that's important because of the culture on YouTube. Forget YouTube team. Forget Google, who's never been able to figure out social media at all. I'm not talking about the successes of creators who edit video. I'm talking about successes of creators who do live video. And you're going to find that it's despite the hurdles on Twitch, the barriers to entry, to growing, and to generating attention and community and flow is much more rapid on Twitch than it is on YouTube, because YouTube's got a completely different quote unquote algorithm, a completely different approach to that. It's not optimized for community. Twitch is. Now they could add the feature at some point in the future. I'm sure they might and will, but it's still trudging through the muck to achieve an outcome that you could have achieved almost day one on Twitch. To give you an example, you know, when someone who's watched the things that I've done and is potentially involved in the same community and has shown up in chat, and they say, hey, I'm thinking about streaming. I'm like, great, let me know. I would love to raid you or support you in any way, because that way you're not starting with just like two people watching, like your mom and your family, and you've got a group of people in the community, right? I don't think my mom tunes in. My in-laws have tuned in, and sometimes my wife will like be listening in the background, so I've got to be careful what I say. You know, she's got her earbuds in, and
listening.
Yeah, kind of. That's, you never know who's listening. It's like just add water, and you almost have instant community now. That is an opportunity you have on Twitch, which gives you enough energy to get started and to keep going. When you're talking about contextualizing what you're doing on the stream within a business, keep in mind why you might be broadcasting. If it's broadcasting to sell, no one's going to tune into a commercial because you're not the Super Bowl. Right. If you're focused on the people, and the people who join, and for whatever reason they're joining, and that interactivity, it's a win. And everything else is just going to kind of be, not the runoff, but it's secondary. And your business and your sales are going to be secondary to that engagement. And I think coming back to that as the focus, don't look at it as it's definitely not a loss leader. The time that you're spending answering questions and engaging with customers, that's customer retention, that's customer acquisition. These are high costs, right? You know, forget running an ad at the back of Popular Mechanics, right? Those days are long gone. You could tweet to your heart's content. No one's gonna look. No one's gonna watch. You could throw a video onto YouTube and you're playing the SEO game. Like you can't, you can't, you can do that, but you can't put all your eggs in that basket, because time is precious, and because it's easier to run something live to tape and you don't have to edit afterwards. This is the reason why pretty much every video I've done, I've done live, because it's just it's the energy I'm putting into something, but then I also have an output. And my output is that I could take a clip, I could easily put it onto Twitch, or sorry, Twitter.
So you can.
Oh yeah.
So how do I get those tasty nugs when they every once in a while something golden comes out?
Yeah.
And it's like, obviously I can't be like, oh, go watch the 2 hours of me
No,
ranting.
no.
It's like,
yeah,
I need the TLDR.
Yeah. You can clip it out, and you can do this on YouTube as well. So I don't want to take away from that feature on YouTube, but I'm saying you could clip something out of our live video and be done with it. You could press a recording button and just if you know this is going to be a good question, you can. What I've done in the middle of this question is I pressed start recording. And so I'm answering the question, I'm recording the video, and when I'm done answering the question, I'll press stop recording, and I'll have a video clip that I can put onto YouTube. So I know ahead of time this is going to be something that I can address with you, but also potentially a bigger audience. So you're effectively building your strategy with SEO with videos that you don't have to edit, you don't have to tweak, you've got it in the can, and it's just a matter of processing and facilitating, and that's, it's child's play at that point because you've done the heavy lifting. There are other optimizations you have to do on YouTube. This is where I kind of go to Twitch. On YouTube, you can't just worry about the video and the right title and the right description. You got to worry about thumbnail. You got to worry about time of day. You got to worry about that. The thing you got to worry about Twitch is showing up. You're the algorithm. You are the algorithm. You are the discovery vehicle. And so it's all about connecting with other people, connecting with your community, supporting that community, engaging with that community. You get much further along with the time you spend with other people, whether it's your chat or somebody else's on Twitch, than you ever will on YouTube. And I don't know, I got to be careful saying you ever will. My belief is that it's never going to happen the same way with the way that YouTube's implemented live, compared to the way that Twitch has. So it's not just what you're doing with your community. It's about joining when someone else is streaming, when you can, when you have that opportunity, when there's when you're thinking about the things that you're doing. You could have a stream going on Twitch, but maybe you're doing stuff in the background. You can't be unattended that I know of on Twitch. YouTube, I don't know what the rules of engagement are with that, but you could have something happening, and the community might just be watching you print another part or watching things drop off the wall as they're printing off that belt. Like you have so much opportunity to create conversation that you're never going to see by posting a tweet, that you're never going to see from posting a video on YouTube. This is why I've always been very bullish about using Twitch, and I'm more than happy to spend time with creators who are looking for a live video strategy with their business, not just as their business, but with their business, because there's a way to make what you do fit. Live video can work for so many businesses. It's shocking that they haven't adopted it yet.
It really is, and I realize that because every time I just put an iota of effort into doing something, it pays just in awareness, right? And like I said, I'm not like act now and I'll give you a coupon code. It's not about that for me. It's one, it feeds my energy to some extent, and two, it's just like, hey, I'm doing something cool, but I just don't. Like, I can very easily walk in here with my phone and be like, hey, check this out. Like, here's some stuff rolling off, and this is why we did it this way, and that's great. I didn't even know you could do the clip thing, and, like, Liz has shown, she's got a little thing on how to make small clips, and Mr. Certainly, saying, like, work smarter, not harder. I'm a huge advocate for that. I have limited time and energy, so, to me, this makes a lot of sense, and I just need to do it. Yeah. A lot of people are saying, just be consistent.
Consistency is key. Learn as you go. Listen to advice. You don't have to follow all the advice, but when I talked to you earlier when we were doing the test and you had I'm going to say it, crappy webcam, like 99% of the planet, I told you, get Reincubate Camo, Windows and Mac, Android and iOS, and you've upgraded the quality of your camera by using the smartphone you already had. And you took the advice, which was great, but you saw the difference to the point where I guarantee you're going to be using this camera like indefinitely. So you may not have that at the beginning, but you just learn as you go. You upgrade your audio, you upgrade your camera and the light. But there's no time to waste, because you never know when you've lost that opportunity by not starting now.
Right. And honestly, if all it needs to be is like doing like, I don't know, 5 minutes a day or like 3 times a week, or
trust me,
that all sounds on paper sounds great, but it's just like at the time that I get around to it, because it
I
feels
hear
like
ya.
I'm constantly putting out fires.
So okay,
You know?
but you've got that's the thing, is you have to decide. You got to once a week. I think is more than fine. Loyal got bit by the bug hard, and I knew he would. But
Yeah,
you've got to decide what that consistency is. Start small. Start, like, oh, I'm going to do it for a half hour. Trust me, the first stream you do with enough people who know, it'll be a 3-hour stream. It won't be short. And then you'll realize, okay, you have to scale back because you have to manage your time. Your energy will come, because you'll see the chat and you'll engage. You're like, oh, and it's interactive. So don't worry about not having enough energy. It should come naturally. Now, if you're feeling run down, you're feeling tired, like, look, dude, I'm about to black out. I got to go. Hey, everyone's got to respect that. Not a big deal. But you've got to look at that time that you're carving out as, again, customer acquisition time, customer retention time, brand awareness time. And those 2 hours a week, like, you should be doing that probably be doing that for your business anyway. This is going to be a higher return on investment. Plus, you got the benefits on Twitch where, I mean, it may not come close to what you're earning with your business. I mean, this is where I always go back to, like, God, I know for me, I would love to have a business where enabling creators in some way, or whether it's through software. I always wanted to build a platform for creators or tools for creators. I'm not a developer, so I could never go anywhere with those concepts. I tried and hired people, but that was just a nightmare, and it never went anywhere because they just weren't creators. And long story, been doing it for too long. So I believe my eventual path is that direction because I'm always giving advice and suggestions and recommendations. But what you're going to see is the runoff from doing Twitch is you'll get bits and cheers and subs as you grow from just a creator to affiliate and potentially even down the line partner. You'll get the benefits, and you might earn, let's say, $500 in a month. Well, that $500 pays the electric bill, or it pays, for an upgrade, or it pays. Well, I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's
chip away.
Yeah, so it's not just customer retention. It's not just customer acquisition. It's not just a high ROI on your time. It's marketing. It's content. It checks all those boxes, and then you'll figure out, okay, this is where this works. And then, of course, the side benefit where you've got the opportunity to offset your costs. Speaking is in a business construct. So I think it's worth it.
I'm glad to hear that, because I've always thought, like, just, looking from afar, I'm like, I think that the 1-2 punch, if done right, of content creation with the business side of things as well, like, it would be a home run, right? But that if done right is a real, gray area. And you start to see it, like, you look at the bigger creators and stuff, or look at, like, think about the 3D, think about the sports professional analogy, right, where it's like most professionals that get really big, like, make way more money in endorsement long term than they ever did playing the sport. And so, the bits and stuff, that's nice, but it's like, it's that engagement, it's that brand awareness, it's that experience, and it's a two-way street. Like, it energizes me and it makes neurons fire that get me thinking from that interaction that I don't get when I'm kind of on my island in my own space a lot of the time.
So that actually,
I think it's very necessary.
One of the biggest challenges people find on Twitch, and you'll hear as a common complaint, is discovery. And I'm not going to say that that's not a shortcoming, but there are relatively simple ways to be discovered on Twitch. And this is where most people have that, island mentality where they are on their own and they're thinking on their own, and this is where they're going to fail. And this approach caused them to fail with blogging or potentially podcasting or social media in general. If you want to be discovered on Twitch, you've got to put yourself out there. And I don't just mean streaming. Anybody can do it. Anybody can press a button. Where are you interacting? Who are you interacting with? Are you connecting with like-minded people? Are you spending some time in somebody else's stream and chatting legitimately, not just saying, the Jack and any, hey, check me out, I'm streaming. That's the worst possible comment you could leave on any platform. But genuinely engaging with them, people that you would consider, friends, colleagues, people who have the same interest. Maybe, Not at all. Maybe they're doing something that's just fascinating. Like they may be cooking something and you're not into cooking at all, but like, wow, that was a really cool recipe, or I really liked how you did that. Plus, not only, are you making those connections with people, but they could in turn help accelerate you when they find out that you're doing something that they're interested in. And so people discover each other that way. And so it's not a get rich quick scheme. It's going to take a fair amount of time, but your engagement and discovery on Twitch is very much predicated on what you're doing on Twitch. And I don't just mean the stream, beyond the stream. Think beyond the time you're spending on the stream. Think about the time you're spending with other people on Twitch. The biggest tool that Twitch has for acceleration isn't tags, isn't titles, isn't necessarily thumbnails or categories. It's raid. It's when at the end of the stream, you have the opportunity to push your audience to somebody else, which is all that much more critical. That what you do to connect with other people on Twitch, like-minded individuals, people inside your greater community, is going to spell success because you are responsible for your own discovery. The algorithm is you. And that's the biggest reason why I think Twitch has a major advantage for live streaming over YouTube, because it's about your schedule, your consistency, your ability to connect with other people, your ability to engage, and create a compelling enough environment where people want to come back and get to know you, and as well as the people around you. And that's where the community forms. And that's the thing you have the ability to basically foster. And so by raiding, you have the opportunity to basically say, all right, tonight we're going to raid Joe Dokes, and Joe Dokes does this. And it may not be, what I do, but this is really fascinating. It's really interesting. And we're just going to, go that direction. And suddenly they get this influx of people that, wow, this is really cool. And then they get new followers, and they may return the favor. I've met so many people I otherwise never would have met just by taking a gamble and say, who's streaming tonight? Oh, this person looks interesting. Or asking my community, who would be interesting to raid? Some people like post some really good recommendations, and those recommendations are how I've been able to grow on Twitch. That's the discovery mechanism. And I think a lot of people who complain about discovery aren't willing to put in that work and aren't willing to put in that time to make those community connections, which can accelerate, business, which can accelerate the time that you spend, quote unquote, marketing yourself as, I'm doing this content. All these things kind of, come into play with discovery on Twitch. And I'm sure there are other ways of getting discovered, but to me, it's about the time you spend with other people and in other people's communities, whether or not you share the same interests. But certainly when you do share the same interests, you want to make those connections, because there are going to be people who have a great amount of attention that are paid to them that are going to help accelerate you on Twitch more so than you're going to get the flow on YouTube. I've never ever seen the flow of one YouTube community into another YouTube community. I mean, you have exceptions, like the people who have billions of followers on YouTube. There are exceptions to the rule. But more often than not, YouTube's not baked with that model in mind. But on Twitch, oh yeah. Like, I've seen it happen, and it's easier to get that energy and that momentum from the very beginning on Twitch, day one, when you're already connecting with the community, than it is on YouTube. And that's the thing. With Twitch, it's all the discovery that you can flow from external, like all the YouTube community that you might have, all the Twitter community you might have, all the connections you've made off platform, your email newsletter. You're fueling your own discovery. It's definitely a BYOD as far as Twitch is concerned. So keep that in mind. It's not a negative. It's all about you. And if you've got an entrepreneurial drive, or like me, a content entrepreneurial drive, it's easy to manage discovery on Twitch. Could be better, sure, but it's all about what you throw into it, not what Twitch gives you.
I like your energy behind it, and it just occurs. I mean, it sounds like so obvious, but it's networking in the modern age to some extent, right? So
that's what it boils down to.
That's fantastic. I mean, there's value across the board. Last question on this thing for now, and I'm sure I'll probably get you offline, but like, do you find yourself actually like outlining like kind of roughly what you want to talk about through the course of the week, or are you just shooting totally from the hip?
I've got a plan of sorts of like, okay, I know on Fridays I want to do this. I know, Saturdays it's kind of, I mean, it's not different. I try not to mix it up too much, because otherwise it's too much to balance for one person. I try to keep it as casual as anything. In fact, doing an interview on Friday evening is probably the most I've done for organizing. I'm trying to do a better job with YouTube because it's more important. Like today, I got the Pixel 6 Pro. Haven't really talked about it tonight, but this is we're just kind of in the flow of things. I'm not too worried about it. It'll be a subject of conversation, tomorrow.
Well, I appreciate the insight, and I think you've given me some stuff to think about and the energy, and I think everybody in the chat has as well. That it's really like you just got to get started. To me, I've always been the kind of approach of like the less like I just want to share things that I've found interesting or challenging or whatever, and not worry necessarily. Like if it is, I'm a like cream rises to the top kind of person. I understand there's probably shortcuts for engaging more and building faster, but I don't know if I care necessarily as much about building that up as I do about the value of me just like sharing my experience and thoughts.
It's a long
and
haul.
Having some potential evergreen stuff that I can pull clips from.
Yeah, and not just that, but think about like people have a problem with something. Hey, jump in. I do tech support, or I do support on Saturdays at 3 p.m. or whatever it happens to be. Like people will know, your customers will know, or get to know that that's where you are. So like,
it's a really good idea. Does anybody do that? Like, why do they have like tech support hour, like office hours?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, come to me with your 3D printing problems. I'm sure that wouldn't totally just depress me.
To make sure you know what you're getting into. But like you've got to you set it up such that your community can provide a lot of the support. Like I may not know everything about 3D printing, but more often than not, someone in chat might know more about something. Someone will jump in and start following, like, hey, what?
One is like, oh god.
Blah, 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 blah. So yeah,
sure.
I think Buana did tech support. I think that's when I met Buana. He did tech support.
That sounds painful, actually.
So, but if you think about it, like customer support, so you can say, hey, if you just want to hang, but it's just like you have an opportunity to make a sale. And that's, it's an opportunity that you didn't have before. And it's like, I don't really want to fire off an email, but yeah, it's easy to talk. It's easy to chat. I think it's, I'm not paid by Twitch apart from, what Twitch provides, but Twitch is just, I don't know. I just find that there's just much more of a community connection versus YouTube. You do a live video and then it's done. And then nobody connects with each other again. They don't connect with each other in comments on regular videos. It's just back to a video that you watch and then comments, and then no one engages in comments apart from fighting. You can tell people's personalities and backgrounds and interests when you just have that live stream, that constant and that consistency. And even with YouTube live streaming, it just doesn't. It ain't the same because YouTube doesn't think about it the same way. It's not the feature; it's the implementation. So yeah, I mean that's my perspective. That's my experience. Now keep in mind, I actually sat on the advisory board for Ustream back in the day, back when it was Justin TV before they pivoted to Twitch. But I sat on the advisory board for Ustream because I was using it prolifically, and I'm like, dude, this is like the second coming, and I'm so glad live streaming has only improved over time. Like it's great where it's at.
Is 30 minutes like long enough to do?
I mean, it is, but trust me, you'll go longer than 30. Trust me, with people who show up, you will.
But if I'm trying to, like if I'm consistently doing, you would think like what, at least an hour? Like, is there? How much time should I carve out?
An hour or two. Keep it. You just say, hey, I'm going to be live at 6.
I don't have 2 hours.
Or so, right? But just like say I'm going to be live, and don't give a cutoff time. You decide that for yourself. I mean, you'll feel the room, right? Like, I mean, ultimately, I mean, an hour and a half might fly by, or it might drag, and there are times that I'm like, I'm not going for anything. Like, I'll feel like, how many people are cheering? Okay, well, that lets me know that, okay, we've got a pretty engaged audience. Or how many people are chatting? Okay, it's pretty engaged audience, or versus it's like pulling teeth. And it's like, okay, if it's a pulling teeth type of night, I'm like, all right, well, I've done everything I wanted to do. I mean, and it happens, right? I mean, sometimes the conversation lulls, and it's like, okay, it happens. I have no agenda apart from just doing it. That's my only agenda. So it keeps my expectations pretty realistic. Because I know it ebbs and flows, depends on the night, depends on the content, depends on what's going on, depends on what's happening. So I just choose a start time, and that's it. That's what I've done. I keep it loosey-goosey.
Nice. I like it. Well, listen, you've given me a lot to think about. I am getting the call now that I'm late for dinner.
Oops. Sorry.
I no, it's not your fault because, like you said, it just goes on, and I really appreciate the time that we've spent and love the conversation. Hope we can do it again soon. And I love all the love that the chat's been given and advice and support.
Yeah,
Awesome community.
we can do it soon when you start live streaming on Twitch.
I will have to carve out.
Everyone's gonna bug you. Loyal's gonna keep bugging you now.
I know. He says, think of it like a hot tub. I don't know, like a time machine. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's
exactly
what you need. That's exactly what you need.
Send me a hot tub with a horse in it, Loyal, and then I'll stream from that.
That's what you
on
need.
The horse in the hot tub.
That's what you need. So no worries. I've got a couple things I'm gonna showcase here too. So it's all good.
I know, and I've taken up all your time, but you got to tell people about the Pixel and all that.
No. I don't know if I'm going to go. I mean, I may go into it, but like I've got a couple other things. I could save the Pixel for tomorrow. It's honestly, long story short, it's
just meh.
It's meh.
You know, I really wanted to hear your opinion. That's the thing. I was long before I was 3D printing. You know, I was in software like yourself,
right.
and always been a big tech advocate. It's like I was really excited. I'm like, oh, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that. But we'd be going for all night long.
Trust me, that's how it goes. That's how it goes.
I know.
All right.
I know, but I love it, man.
Thanks again. I really appreciate it. That's Pooch, everybody. Sorry, I went away. Pooch is now disappeared. He's good. We can hang up the call. And the links, I think, at least I posted his Twitter link in on chat. So if you're not following Pooch already, you should be. And I'd link off to his and there it is. It's Repcord. That's his Twitter handle. I'd say follow him on Twitch. I mean, he does have an account. He's a sub. He re-upped his sub at the beginning of the stream. So you can follow him now if you want. And if he chats in chat, it's an easier way of clicking his handle to give him. All right, come on, Repcord. All right, post something in chat, and then people can click your handle and then start following you. We'll get you some followers here. I should have said that when we were chatting, but anyway, there he is, right there. Click his handle, Posty McPostface, right there. You can click his handle, and I think you can follow him directly from this chat. Get you a few new subs, just like that. You can follow anybody on Twitch, whether or not they happen to be streaming. So. Yeah, I got the Pixel 6 Pro, and I don't know. I've been fiddling with it on and off and going back and forth. I think I'm going to be using it to do my daily inspirational videos. It's been good. The camera output is great, but the software I'm running into jank in spots that I don't run into jank with on the Samsung Galaxy, the S21 Ultra. And that's something that, between the two, I'm going to go with the less janky device. And so that's the thing that this is my instinct. I like the camera. I think I like the photo output in certain situations more on the Pixel. I appreciate the sharpness on the Pixel more than the Samsung. That's the thing that my eyes are attuned to. But I don't know if that's enough to win me over as a daily driver. I don't like the gesture nav. I really don't like the material. I don't want to have a color. I just want to, I don't want green. I don't want pink. I don't want blue. I want gray. And unfortunately it doesn't want to be that. And that's honestly, it's driving me nuts. I got a stretch. Thank you very much. I also have some stuff to showcase. Let me go ahead. Okay, I can hang that up. I can close Discord there. Awesome. Discord is now closed. So that's that. Let me pull over some of the stuff I got tonight. Jedi cannot wait. She's been so excited. Let me move that there. Move this here. These are. You're gonna love this. This is a pet toy. It is a mug with Stormtrooper hot chocolate marshmallow stuffies. So these stuffies, they squeak, and here, that's the easiest way to try to figure out. There we go. So this is a toy, a dog toy, with hot chocolate marshmallows and a mug, and the mug's got a hole in it, so like you can. It's from Chewy. So Chewy's got these awesome Awesome little, you can hardly tell there. You can see the sparkles. There you go. So we've got these Stormtrooper marshmallows dipping in hot chocolate. Jedi loves this already. It's like her favorite thing. So we got that. Let me make sure. Checking Discord. Feel free to join on Discord if you have not. Checking Cantina. Thank you, Kurt. Yeah, that's a good shot. I think you can tell it's like, what is that? Okay, so that's that. Jedi could not wait to play with that. Found that they now have these are towels for the holiday season. Merry Force be with you. That's a new saying. I haven't heard it written that way to date. But these are dish towels. So I got a couple of those. Very happy to have them because, of course, the nice Vader in the middle. Very Christmassy, very flourishy. Merry Force be with you. That one. And then got some socks. Can't have enough Grogu socks. I may have already had these before. I can't remember. I see they're only like $4, so it's like $2 for a pair of socks. There's one on one side, and the other side you can tell it's a good one. I mean, they must be new because it's got Grogu on them. But it's a one-eyed frog. That's how you know it's legit. When it's a two-eyed frog, I'm like, I don't know if I really want to spend the money on a two-eyed frog. I want the one-eyed frog. These are all, well, the rest of them, I think, no, I got one other thing that's not a pet toy. Give me a second. A moment. Another kitchen thing for the holiday season or beyond. It's a Santa Grogu out of the pod. So these are pot holders. They keep. I mean, I've seen so many of these. I don't even know if I've got all of them at this point. So I got to show this candy cane, and the reason why this is the most amazing candy cane ever is I'm holding it this way for a reason. This is a Star Wars candy cane, and you can tell it's a Star Wars candy cane not because of the design, but look very closely. It says LFL. Right there, LFL, Lucasfilm Limited, right? So it's a Star Wars candy cane. Star Wars freaking stuffed candy cane. It came with this this Grogu. This is a pet Grogu, right? Or you know, it's even got feet. It's a, I don't know if it squeaks, right? So a stuffed Santa Grogu. Might make a fun tree topper as well. Although I got the dedicated tree topper. So we got a Santa Grogu. Merry Force be with you. So nice little stuffy. Jedi is gonna have fun with that. I know what she totally just wants the mug. And then I saw these too, and I thought they were pretty cheap. For I don't know where we're gonna put them, but like Halloween decor, like maybe lay them against the sofa or the bed. So this is the front of a C-3PO. Dia de los Muertos. Oh, and he's wearing a mask, I guess. And then in the back it says, "May the boo be with you." May the boo be with you. Boo. So that was kind of funny. That one. And then on this one is Boop. Because it's R2-D2. These are pet toys from Chewie. Chewie's got some pretty good Star Wars stuff. Yeah? So we get to put these somewhere. I don't know where we're going to put them, like on the sofa or something, because they lay flat, or maybe on the bed. Although you'd squeak into them. Jedi went directly for... Alright. Take a guess what Jedi went directly for. We got all these things. Remember, we got Santa Yoda there, too. Yep. Santa Yoda. She went right for... I told you. I told you. Told you. So these...
Sounds like a mapping.
It does. Sounds like rapping. I'm going to hold these up separately. Kurt. Let's see if I can... Dang it. Hang on just a second. Hang on. Wait. I want to try to get a picture of them here. There we go.
Dad, where's the cup of coffee?
I'm going to hold it up in a second. Hang on. Watch it. Watch out. All right. You want to hold it? Okay. You want to hold up the mug? Okay. Hang on. Hang on, honey. I got to get a still shot, sweetie. We got to get a still shot. There we go. Ready? And actually, wait right there. Honey, hold that pose again. I want to get, just in case. Well, actually, that pose might have worked. Yeah, I think that pose worked. Yeah. That pose was fun. Although, can we tell that Jedi's drinking out of the Death Star mug? Okay, you want it. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so here, let's hold up the mug. Like, there we go. Like you're enjoying it. Like, we gotta get the shot. There we go. Hang on. It's a still shot. We're doing this for the Wampa's in the mug. There we go. And let's hold it up like this. Hold it up. Hold it up. It's okay. Hold it up. A little higher. There we go. And a little lower. There we go. You ready? There we go. We got to make sure we're showcasing it just fine. All right. Thank you. Yeah, it's yours. Yep. Here's the marshmallow and the mug and your Wampa, and you got your Santa Yoda, Santa Grogu, I guess, and the candy cane, stuffed candy cane. It's a Star Wars candy cane.
Why are Christmas things coming out?
Well, because it's they're starting to release Christmas stuff. There's a couple other things that I did not get, believe it or not, and these are again cat or dog toys, not sure. C-3PO and R2-D2. A mummy C-3PO, and this one's got like a little pumpkin carrot. I'm telling you, dude, these are just I don't do a lot of the stuffies, but I'm like, these are just too unique. So if you want really unique Star Wars stuffies, like Chewie has been amazing, way better than Petco ever was. Chewie has been so creative. These are cat stockings. So we've got, at least I'm pretty sure they're cats. Yeah, these are the cat ones. We've got R2-D2, Yoda, and then, here, we'll do it this way. Got it. These just little, I don't know if they squeak, but they like got crunched, so this is like a perfect ASMR. So of course I wanted the Darth Vader one, naturally. Naturally needed that one. But these are like little cool, cute little stuffies. You know, for Christmas. For people who have pets or people who don't have pets. Right? So, the Yoda one, the R2 one. They have a dog version of this too. I only got the cat ones though. Because I figured they'd be the same. There's one more. I find your lack of candy disturbing. Ah, that's funny. Can't imagine. You imagine what this is? It is a Darth Vader dog toy. That's a Death Vader, really. The Vader is dead. Skeleton Vader. Huh? This is fun. I know y'all are like, hey, talk about the Pixel 6 Pro. This is so much more exciting. A bag full of dog toys. For a dog we don't have. Like I said, I usually just flip for the Vader stuff. So this is a little rag, you know, I don't know, lack of a better whatever, but a Vader doll? Vader rag doll? Got so many of these. Well, this one's different. I usually skip the ones that I'm like, I kind of have one that's like that. I'm not a completist at all. Not a completist by far. But there's this. And then got a couple more here.
Aceless Chaired X200 candy corn.
Wait, did someone candy corn me? They did. Pez Liz, thank you. Candy corn break. Now, got a couple other. I'm not done. Couple more cat toys. So we've got a Vader and the Stormtrooper on this pole, this candy cane pole, with these tassels. So there we go. Fun. So again, Jedi's been playing with these. Is like little. She waves them around. Aziz green. All right, fair enough. We can do green. There's your green. So anyway, like tassels. Yeah. See how that works? Dude, they have so. I mean, we don't even have a cat. We're never gonna have a cat. But like, we've got this now, and I'm telling you, they this is their Christmas haul. Iskra needs those, dude. They're so awesome. And this one is another Lucasfilm candy cane, as well as Grogu, Santa Grogu. Santa Grogu with the candy cane. There. Well, I mean, some Halloween. No, I'm just what I'm showing right now are the Christmas ones. So this one. Yeah, I know. Oh, it's got a little knot here. There we go. That one. And last but not least, more catnip sold as a set. Do not separate. I had to get this one because I just love this. Look at this. It's a freaking... Look, a little Stormtrooper and a little Darth Vader, like, Santa Claus and like, elves. Isn't that great? These are pet toys. But they're just perfect toys for anybody. They're ASMR toys. This is Santa freaking Vader. So anyway, yeah, see. So anyway, that is our pile of pet toys without having a pet. 'Cause why not? You gonna bring Iskra with me next time? You might as well. We got enough pet toys to entertain. So anyway, I had to show you those things. Now, any questions about the Pixel? Ugh. I just see... Ooh, wait, hang on. There's a Vintage Collection Bad Batch vehicle? Oh, whoa. Oh, no, that's the 4-pack. Never mind. I just see a lot of random lag on the Pixel. That's honestly, that's my initial impressions. Next print. What? What's the next print? What is it? British... What does this say? A cat? Is it a cat? Oh my god. No, I'm not going to print a cat. I already have a Vader cat. Did I see the Black Series Omega and Echo? I did. I'm excited. Very excited. Incredibly excited. I'm also someone with a full bladder. So I'm going to... Y'all keep yourself entertained. I'm starting another print. I'm going to be back in a second. I have to hit the men's room. I'm sorry. It's the general restroom. Bathroom.
What's your favorite color? What's your favorite color? I'm gonna change it. See here. Blue. Baby Yoda color. Oh, I know. Red. We could do red, green, purple, yellow. These are all the Halloween colors. Wait, that's pop, pop, pop. 99. Hey, that's not 9. 5. Oh, those look so cute. Okay, red, 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 red. First set. Oh, they look so cute. They look so cute.
Thank you, honey. You good?
Yeah.
Thank you. Did you have fun hosting? All right.
What is this?
It's a little stocking. So,
What's that for?
it's like a, I don't know. It would be normally to hang it up, but it doesn't actually hang up. But anyway, I thought these were pretty cool. I thought everything was pretty cool.
Faceless
Enough
cheered
to get 'em.
X200.
Oh,
Candy
Liz.
corn for Jedi.
Thank you. No. Ugh. Thought I was going to be able to escape tonight without the candy corn overload. I thought I was like, man, this is a pretty good night. No candy corn, or hardly any. So, yeah, this is great. Yeah, candy corn. Yeah. Bleh. Oh. Thank you. Thank you for the candy corn. Ugh. I'm almost out of this filament. I'm just going through these little bookmarks because there's not, too many other things to print that don't take a lot with this, but I'm getting through them. Can't have enough of these paper clips, and a nice little gift for other people too. More than anything. Oh, Kurt. Uh-oh.
Kurt Grosser cheered X200. Did I hear that you needed some candy corn? I'm all too happy to help there.
Thanks, Kurt. Really. By the way, how did you feel tonight went? I thought it went well. Good conversation. Feel I even got some TLDR videos out of it. Not that I think those TLDR videos would traffic that well because people don't tune into my my YouTube channel for 3D printing and or Twitch advice. But still, thought it was worth thought they were worth recording a few of those clips. And then next Friday, I want to invite another YouTuber on, which would be fun. In fact, I'm talking with him right now. Hey, would you be up for being a guest on my Twitch stream next Friday at 6 p.m. PST? There we go. I'm lining up next week's guest already. And we need candy corn for the hype train earlier. Yeah, I know. Wait, what? How much? No, I ate all the candy corn from the first hype train. Unless you had one in between. Was there another hype train in between that I totally missed? Zenumpton? Well, did you just join tonight? I'm not sure I've seen your handle before, and you're not a sub yet, but I'm glad you got it, and I'm glad you're still here, even beyond the giveaway. That's very awesome. Had to tune out when I started talking about streaming, but the 3D printing chat was super interesting. Very nice. Keep pushing me closer and closer to diving into it. Tonight was a real good catalyst. Nice. Share candy corn points. Oh, I see. So add points to all. We got through a level 2, right? So there's that from earlier. You've got about 2 minutes to see if this hype train's going to take off, but I have no idea if it's going to take off. Can you share the link with the Star Trek? Yes, Loyal. Please, share it. Share your promo. I'll be doing my, I've been accelerating, but I've also been doing the promo. The big promo was on YouTube. The big push was on YouTube, and then I'll be doing it again on YouTube tomorrow morning, as well as to the YouTube community tomorrow, because that's where it's really going to matter. I might even be able to do, I think if I get it out, a newsletter push. I just migrated my email newsletter over to Substack. To Substack, from Substack to review. It's if you go to my Twitter profile, you can see the email newsletter. That's like, I'm going to try sending a first one out tomorrow, if only to say, hey, tonight's the night to get a 3D printer. So, hopefully that'll push a lot of people our way. Whoa, Dark Toy Lord! Unbelievable!
Dark Toy Lord cheered X1000. Nom nom nom.
Nice! Think you're our top cheerer today. Thank you very much, Dark Toy Lord. Very appreciated. Except, no, it's not. It is not appreciated. Everything here, these 5 candy corn. Really? Okay. Okay, I am excited. Thank you. It's just I'm also kind of dejected at the same time. We'll do some candy corn bonuses at each level. Get through a level 1, that's 5 extra candy corn. Level 2, that's an extra 5. Every level we get through, that's an extra 5 candy corn. Here we go. It's not so bad in the beginning, but then the saliva hits. And then it gets bad.
Paceless cheered X100, who wants to go halfsies with me? Candy corn, yum yum.
Ugh. 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 For whatever it's worth, I have, you know, I'm probably gonna go to gestures.
Loyal
Loyal
Mrs.
went half.
cheered
There's
X100,
a full,
yummy candy corn, eat me up.
The video I did today for what would you call it? The inspirational video clip today was done on the Pixel camera. So if you notice the everything's different, like eliminating stress and improving your quality of life. Would you rather spend 1 minute addressing a need up front or an hour later when you have to deal with your lack of planning and preparation? Don't waste your time and don't waste mine. People think organization is about perfection, but it's about ruthless efficiency, eliminating stress, and improving your quality of life. But it looks great. Would you rather spend 1 minute addressing a need up front or an hour? It looks great to the point where I'm like, oh, whoa, I would totally use this again because the HDR turned out very nice. The video turned out very nice. And so I'm not going to use the Samsung selfie camera as I have been. I'm going to use the Pixel for recording that video, the inspirational video every morning. So that's it's I know it's a really weird thing. It's a very what's the word I'm looking for? Odd use case. Like it's not like, you know, a perfect use case, but it's one of those things that oh, they changed that too. Okay, that's good news.
No more 3 cheer decks 200. Candy corn meets each candy corn.
Here's your 5 bonus.
Dark Toy Lord cheer decks 100. Sorry.
Don't apologize, buddy. I'll eat half. Oh. That was a small half, by the way. Trying to think any other initial impressions. A lot of lag. I don't like the default launcher.
Paceless cheered X100. I am eating candy corn. Yummy, yummy, yummy.
Yeah. Twitter is a total chop fest. It's very janky on the Pixel. It's smooth or smoother on the Samsung. I've noticed a couple of other apps where it's that way as well. They need to. I think that's a problem. Dang, Dark Toy Lord. Really
Dark
coming
Toy
in
Lord
again.
cheered X 1000. Really, really sorry.
Man, you're not half as sorry as I am. I'm the one's got to eat these things. Oh, now I got the taste in my mouth that's like, you know, I've been eating sugar, but then it's starting to wear off, so it's kind of the aftertaste of candy corn. And then I start the whole process all over again. Yeah. Ugh. Go on. I'm not sure how I feel about the notifications. I just don't. I really don't like the lack of customization features there just seems to be so many things that are missing. I don't like the blue. I don't like the green. I don't like... I mean, the blue at least gives me more neutral, more than anything. It's otherwise snappy-ish. Except, like I said, a little lag. Every now and again. But, I mean, it's fluid-ish. People like the unboxing tonight. I don't know if you watched the unboxing TLDR. Big half? Fine, Liz. Here's the big half.
Okay, big half.
Oh, actually, you get a bonus. This one's got a half glued to it. This is like 1.5 right here. I'll put that. Oh,
Krusty 3D shared X400. Don't worry, I won't make you eat a candy, or I will make you eat too.
Thank you, Krusty. People are liking it. I'm going through on the Pixel and liking the comments. Things that I mean, there are just certain things that I just don't like about that navbar experience. It's just not. It's not clean. Amazon's also juddery. I mean, these are apps that I use all the time. Instagram's okay. Instagram's at least more fluid. I wouldn't say it's more fluid than Twitter, which doesn't take much. Oh, the unboxing was awesome. Dark Toy Lord, I'm glad you enjoyed it. How's my inspiration? Oh, yeah, you can definitely see the difference. Oh, man. My reel on, for today, my reel definitely took off. It's got 17...
Vendetta _ returns
Sorry,
to
I check those stats
X103.
Often. But I got, I'm 1700, which is a pretty good for that. I may end up switching to the default launcher, although I'm not thrilled about it. It may provide me different... Oh, I gotta log into TikTok on here. I'll do that later. When I swipe up, it does different things. Vendetta returns. Thank you for the half. We're now to level 3, which means another bonus 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What else can I say about the Pixel? The camera I haven't really had a chance to use. Magic Eraser looks awesome. So another reason to use the Pixel, specifically the 6 Pro, or the 6, is that, like I said, I'm going to be using it for the video, for the inspirational videos, and those differences is just like night and day. I definitely upped my game there. But the Magic Eraser. So even if I take a picture on the Samsung device when I'm out and about, and if I want to crop something out, I could easily do it within the Photos app on the Pixel. So yeah, that's that, and I've just been experimenting in the Play Shop, just trying to do this, that, and the other thing. And I'm using it in extreme circumstances, but it works pretty well. Oh, did you see the camera quality? Yes, it's pretty decent. But I've always liked the camera quality of the Pixel for sure. Like I said, the thing that would keep me it's somewhat improved, lag improved with a point update they just pushed out to Pixels today, but it's still laggy by comparison to the Samsung device. And anybody who says otherwise isn't paying attention. There's definite lag. There's absolute lag. I'm running down this filament. Yeah, I'm running down a filament. Do. Hey, thank you for resubscribing for 3 months.
2748 just resubscribed for 3 months.
I keep forgetting to do this. When I'm here, I forget to turn on the Hypnotism and the Hype Train logo that Jedi drew for me. Gotta remember to do that. Gotta remember. Chris, gotta remember. I don't have that much left. I mean, I'm going to do as many as I possibly can. Waste not, want not. These little clips of sorts. Paper clips. Gifts. Star Wars. I printed out 4 other BB-8s tonight, too. Oh, hang on. There we go. Level 3 needs point. Okay, I did that. The fingerprint reader has been fine. Some people have complained about the fingerprint reader. I would say it's hit or miss compared to the Samsung fingerprint reader. But like I said, I feel that the Samsung edges it out with that. Battery life, I haven't had enough time with it for sure. Look at the bookmarks. Look like bookmarks. What does? Did I say anything? Hey, Scotsman. Good to see you again. Welcome back. The gel. Oh, hey, we got next week's guest, everyone. Next week's guest is in. Wow. So next week's guest is going to be David, and he is David Stevens, Alt Dad Tech. He's very, I thought he does YouTube, tech videos, Alt Dad Tech, and he joined one of my Twitter Spaces just the other day, and he was very well spoken. He's definitely listened to me for years, and we think very similarly in terms of software. So I think he's going to be a really fun guest next weekend, or next Friday, I should say. I'm gonna have to come back to that. So maybe with another patch or two, the pixel will be more fluid. Maybe. And I'll be watching it closely because I'll be using it every day. But I don't know. I'm not sure I can switch to it. That's my gut. My gut tells me I as much as I can set things up, I'm not sure I can switch to it. Like I said, maybe I'll be able to look past a couple of those things, but I don't know. We got through level 2. Great. Let's add points to all 200,000, just like that. Thanks again to everybody for participating. Now here comes the 10 candy corn. Maybe I am getting used to it. I'm just used to this nasty ass flavor in my mouth. You think I should interview Liz? Not David S. Pumpkins. Skull. Alright. Maybe one day. Thank you, Kurt, for posting to your Instagram story. When you eat more than 2 candy corns, it's a different kind of flavor. It just, like, completely overwhelms you. Uh-oh. We got another snag here. Let's go ahead and stop. It's okay. It's okay. I'm running out the filament. Hydrate. I got a little water. Anything surprise you with a new Pixel? Not. I'm trying to think. Anything that's pleasantly surprised me. A lot of my reaction has been like, ugh. Some people had been complaining about the fingerprint sensor, and honestly, I guess I have not felt like it's been that much of a problem. Oh no, not that. So that's something that kind of surprises me. The fingerprint sensor has been fine. I wish, and maybe I was expecting. Well, so I don't know how benchmarks look on paper, right? Or how it works in terms of experience. But I was hoping for more fluidity, given that I saw a big boost in fluidity from the Pixel 4 XL. Another thing that surprised me is this thing's a fingerprint magnet. Even with the case off, certainly, but absolutely with it on. Thank you for the shout out to Amish Ace. Anything else? What else have I noticed that's not? I'm trying to think, but nothing happens. Yeah, I'm thinking about using the default launcher on here. I love the third-party launcher and I love using third-party launchers, but unfortunately, it just does not. The third-party launchers don't play well. The fingerprint sensor is probably the one thing I really like to have in a smartphone these days. Oh, let me tell you, especially after like, well, let's go home, reprint. Especially after having to wear masks everywhere. That's not a surprise at all. Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna have to go in and go back to the the default launcher, because it's just, even though the Pixel launcher is kind of clunky to me, I just feel like it'd be more like a Pixel experience versus the third-party launcher, which isn't updated and hasn't been updated, and I don't know when it will update, and I don't know if that's taking away from the experience. I'm still not sold on the big chonky buttons, unfortunately. That just seems like it could be different or better. You haven't seen this yet. Is the rear fingerprint sensor? Not anymore. They got rid of the rear. The rear doesn't exist anymore. But, you know, that's something that, as long as it's somewhere, like, I'm happy. But it's got to be somewhere. And so it is somewhere. The closest thing to neutral you can get is going with blue. And then your buttons are blue, but then they go gray. And your notifications are kind of, they're blue, but they're also gray. So that's the closest you can get to neutral, which is really unfortunate. I mean, it kind of comes down to not just optimization of apps whenever they come, but it's specifically down to, if, like I said, if they come, because a lot of these apps are just never going to be updated, and you end up getting just these weird, because they don't allow you to turn off the status bar, and it just creates a very, I don't know, I feel it creates a jarring experience. I want to have a cleaner experience, which is why, honestly, I believe that One UI from Samsung is a better experience than the Pixel is with just straight up Android, right? Even dealing with the Samsung layers of crap that you can navigate around. Like, you can, I largely ignore the Samsunginess of a Samsung phone. It's like, it's not as in your face as it could be. Do I have a lot of apps on there that I'm never going to use? Absolutely. I wish I didn't. But that just doesn't, in my usage, does not and has not taken away from the usability of the device, the features of the device, and what I actually use on the device. You know, could I go with the Pixel? I don't know. I use Amazon, not frequently, but enough. I use Twitter all the frickin' time. So, like, this to me would just drive me nuts. Like, the fact that, you know, just a simple scroll is judder, judder, judder. Like, I just use it too much, too frequently to just, you know, be annoyed by it. Like, it judder, jank, drop frame. Like, really? Really? It's just, it's not, it's not, I don't know, it's Twitter's fault. Twitter isn't optimized for it. But, like, there's the Pixel is just, it's really bad. Like, very, very bad. So for an app that I use all the time, I use Flamingo, or I used Flamingo all the time, but the problem is that now there are so many features that Flamingo doesn't have access to, like Spaces. It doesn't have the experience. So Twitter's default app runs pretty well on the Samsung device, like, well enough that I'm not annoyed by it. So that tells me that the experience, so long as Samsung doesn't, like, radically change things and just marginally improves things, will be even better on the S22. And I have a feeling that you know, in using the Pixel daily, I'm ultimately going to be switching from the S21 directly to the S22. That's what my gut tells me. That's what I feel. That's how I feel it's going to go. Wait, is this from, where is it? Oh, that's from Discord. Okay. I'm checking TikTok. See how my video's doing? Oh, 81. Yeah, not as well. But that's okay. Boy, the video quality on the selfie camera on the Pixel is like I'm very happy with it. There are certain things that I'm not happy with in terms of the oh, I gotta set up my shortcuts. Boy, it looks weird. The color looks very weird, but maybe that's more natural. Yeah, it looks better when you take the picture. Yeah, I love the selfie camera on the Pixel. Yeah. Yeah, I love the selfie camera here. Oh, Jet, I changed the colors there. The selfie camera is hard to beat. That's nice. I'm getting some weird color on it, but like, you know, just getting shots. I don't like the fact that it's a two-step, and 2 is an optical zoom, and I know they care about their zoom stuff, but I would much rather, you know, ignore that zoom and go directly to the 4x for that, and I'll get some good toy photography as well. Oh, I see. It switched lenses seemingly again. Camera I can't complain about too much, if at all. Fluidity could be better. Maybe they will continue to tweak it, but what else? What else? My initial impressions here.
Faceless Chaired X100, do you know any skeleton jokes? Yes, but you wouldn't find it very humorous.
Oh, that's good. She's been boning up on her dad jokes. Thank you for following, Passage Win. I will say this. Sometimes I'll lock the phone and go to use a fingerprint sensor, and it won't detect the fingerprint sensor. And it tells me to punch in the code. I'm like, okay, why am I punching in the code? So I may have to go through, you know, a few settings in here just to get them, get things set up the way that, you know, I used to have them set up. Because that's the thing, is that you constantly have to go in and tweak what you do. So here, wait, where is it? I thought you could double tap. There was a double tap feature, I thought. Dirty lens warning, yeah. Store videos efficiently. Time lapse, timer light. Depth of data. There was a way. Framing hints, yeah, I like that. Where? There was a... Wasn't there like a double... There was a double tap... oh, there we go. Gestures. Volume key action shutter. Wait a minute. Did they take it out? Did they take out the double tap to flip? Or maybe it's something that they turn off when you've got the manual color temperature. Because you can adjust the color temperature on the side, brightness, contrast, all that. Dude, one question. I want to make a replacement part from air conditioner. Took measurements. Don't know how to design basic 3D shapes. Any idea? Linux. Pazidwin, try Tinkercad. It's free. It's browser based. Tinkercad.com. Glad you caught me here. Try that. Give that a shot. You don't need to be on Linux. You don't need to be on any operating system, really. It could be anything. Really? That kind of surprises me. Haven't raided Ceniup in a while. Let's give Ceniup a raid, shall we? How's that sound? No problem. I'm here every night, as is the rest of the community. So, thank you for following. Hope to see you
Kurt
again.
Grosser cheered X100. Why don't ghouls like Lindels? They prefer human beings.
Yeah. There's one more candy corn for the road. Candy corn for the road. Loyal, what time do I stream? Great question. 6 p.m. Pacific every night. And tomorrow night, you're going to be on the stream with me as a guest because we're giving away a Prusa Mini Plus thanks to you. And another subscription box of Filament and Canadian candy, according to Liz. It's like a 3-for. Someone's going to be very happy. Although, the Prusa Mini will go to someone anywhere in the world. But the Filament we have to be careful about because that can only be USA or Canada. And I assume the same with Liz's offer as well. So tomorrow night, we'll be live. Oh, a separate draw for the candy. Fair enough. Okay, separate draw for the candy. Tomorrow night, 6 p.m., giving away a printer. Giving away a 3D printer. Exactly like the one that I'm using here. Like, precisely the one. Well, not this one, but it is the one. The model. Same model as the one I'm using here. So if you always wanted to get into 3D printing, you always wanted a Prusa Mini Plus, tomorrow night is the night. It's a big night. It's a huge night. Bigger than this smartphone screen, which is pretty darn big. Nice and big. I like beefy screens. I can't eat beef because, vegan. Those are the rules. But I can say thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. I love you. I appreciate you. But at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices, and may the force be with you always. Get those Perillo Raider emotes ready. We're going to Tuscan raid Cine up, and he's always got some fun animations when we raid Cine up. And he's an amazing supporter of mine. I appreciate it. Happy to send the love back his direction. If you like 3D printing, if you like Star Wars, you want to give Cine up a follow, because he is streaming on a pretty regular basis. He said he just got some filament, so he started to 3D print again. Can I print smartphone cases? You could. If you wanted to, you could. Yes, they exist. I don't, but people do, for sure. Gonna go ahead. See everybody tomorrow night. I love you. Appreciate it. See you tomorrow night. Oh, Loyal's dumping his Is it Nose? Nose? Is it called Nose? You drink Nose? Ew. Loyal drinks Nose. Nose? Ugh. Here we go. Tuscan rating. Cine up 76. In 3, 2, 1. Nose. Okay. Thank you. Boop. There we go. Now, hang on, honey.
Whoa, what's going on here? Ooh.
Got a raid.
I believe I've just been raided by Mr. Perillo.
Yes.